Alright guys, welcome to another video, and today we're going to talk about how you can make sure that you get the best letter of recommendation out there for you. Now, as you guys might know, if you're going for your master's process or your PhD process, you will have to submit at least 3 recommendation letters. And that can be hard because, well, we as students do not know what the committee is expecting when it comes to the letter of recommendations. I mean, to tell you the most that I've understood, like I've done extensive research on this topic, but the best thing that I can tell you is your letter of recommendation probably holds more value than your statement of purpose does. So I'm not saying that, your statement of purpose isn't important. I'm just saying that if your application did not have one thing on your profile out of these, you would be still better off if it doesn't have a stellar SOP, but it should definitely have stellar letter of recommendations. Now, from what I can understand is that we as students, we do not know what to include in it, or really how to approach professors for it, or how to really go about the process. So I'm going to explain it to you how you can make sure that you get the best recommendation letters. Be a little patient because this stuff is all over the internet, from the professors blogs and everything that I've read, and from the professors that I know. I've talked to them. It does not mean that this is the only way, but trust me, if you go by this process in this way, this will do you wonders. All right, so what I want you to do is focus on this. All right, first, some professors will ask you to write like recommendations letters yourself, and then they will proofread them for you, and then they will just basically take out content and insert content that they like. Basically, it's going to be like they're going to be customizing your letter of recommendations. I say that don't do that. If some professor is really forcing you, try to go to some other professor if you do have one, which you can trust and which you have worked with. So first of all, let's go with who you should really pick to ask for a recommendation letter. So there's a whole lot of professors at your university. There's probably managers at your internship, and well, there's a whole lot of people you can ask for recommendation letters from, and most people won't refuse. But what you want to do is not just ask for a recommendation letter, ask for a strong recommendation letter. Ask them if they are comfortable writing a strong recommendation letter for you, because if they can write a strong recommendation letter, then you are good to go. And even if they are hesitant at times, they will say yes. If you just ask them, can you please write me a recommendation, they'll still say yes. But at the end, if they don't write you a strong recommendation, it's going to be really hard getting you into that program that you're targeting, right? Recommendation letters can really make things or break things for you. It's like that. And a lot of times you don't have it in your hand because you're going to be waiving access to your recommendation letters. I hope you are, at least I am. So I know that it's very, very kind of, you don't know how it'll turn out to be. So if you're skeptical about this process, don't worry, even I am. But this is something that you can do to basically make sure that it's good. So ask them that if they can write you a strong recommendation. At the same time, you wanna ask them if they can just they have the time, because a lot of professors just don't have the time, and that's why you should ask them in advance. At least give them a week or two, because writing strong recommendation letters is not easy. Okay, plus you need to give them your resume, your statement of purpose, and basically a list of universities you're applying to, so that they can make sure that they have all the material in their hands. They know what you are doing, right? Apart from that, give them one piece of paper, and this piece of paper is very important. What this piece of paper is going to include is really your interactions with him. So let me just go over how you should choose a recommender first, and then I'll go over this part. So while choosing a recommender, make sure that you have worked extensively with that recommender, especially if you have been involved in even a little bit of research with that professor. That professor should be on the top of your list, because research is really what they're looking for, and they want to make sure that you are ready for that kind of an environment. You know how the logistics are, how things work. So that's what something you should really be thinking about. It can also be coursework, but don't make sure that they don't write so much about the coursework that there's nothing else. So this is completely on you. If you give them that piece of paper that reminds them of how you have interacted with them, how you have, worked with them on projects, on research, on anything really, even if you have built some software for the school, that matters. Okay, show them that, remind them of it, just give them a brief reminder. So just write it on this piece of paper. You will write a few points that you have done and give it to the professor, so that he can make sure that, he includes everything that you want to be included in that letter of recommendation. Sometimes professors just forget these things, so it's your job to make sure that they don't just, forget these things, and everything that you want to be included in this letter is there. And really, doing this will also make sure that professors know what they have, what they're dealing with, so they don't just write a generic LOR. If they're writing a 1 or 2 paragraph LOR, it's not gonna work. It's gonna seem like that professor was forced into writing it, and well, it's just gonna basically ruin your admissions process. So don't do that. Again, there are a whole lot of things when it comes to letter of recommendation. If you want more tips on how to really, go about it, you can personally contact me on my Instagram. There's a WhatsApp group I have. You can go over there and you can talk to me personally. I'll be willing to help you out. But the thing is that, these recommendation letters, you need to pick out the right kind of professors, the right kind of people. I hope that you know that you should have at least 2 letters from academia, that is your professors, and at least 1 letter from, your managers or whatever. I mean, there can still be 3 letters from academia, but if you have no one else, no other professor to ask, you can still go to the internship manager or something that supervise you during your internship. So that will help. But that's really all. Trust me, you can write good letter of recommendations, and they can potentially get you into the topmost universities, into the best universities that you want. What are topmost universities? They are all about research, right? You get a stellar research environment, you get the best faculty over there, you get the best peers over there. So if you want to get into something like that, follow this advice. Make sure that your recommender has everything that he needs to know, that he needs to be reminded of, and at the same time make sure that you are giving him enough time, because sometimes he just might want to interview you face to face before writing that. So it's gonna be like a whole lot of times. So make sure it's someone you trust, I would say, also, because if it's someone you just don't know and you're going to ask them for a recommendation letter, that's not gonna work, because either they're gonna say yes and write you a weak recommendation letter, or they're gonna just refuse. And trust me guys, you don't put your professors into a position where they have to lie for you. If you have really interacted with that professor, give them that letter, right? So give them that, ask them for that letter. So they will help you out, I'm sure. And give them that sheet of paper is really what I wanted to say. That sheet of paper is very important. Listing out everything that you have done with them. This sheet will be different for every professor, so don't kind of try to give the same sheet to every professor. Okay, so I guess that's all for this video. If you want more help, do contact me on my Instagram, on my I guess really people contact me everywhere, but Instagram, sure, that's the best place. WhatsApp is cool too. So I hope you've been enjoying these videos. If yes, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and tell me if there's some topics that you need me to make videos on. All right, I'll see you in the next go.